Anyone involved in the international trade game will remember 2016. It will likely go down as the year when average people, tired of waiting for the economy to really recover, voted against the established order. The Brexit and US election votes reflected cynicism about the architecture of international trade, and, conditioned by this shift, the discourse on the campaign trails acquiesced to the popular but false notion that when one nation benefits from trade, it punishes another. That is, trade is a win-lose proposition. Amid the rancorous US debate, we conducted EDCs Trade Confidence survey. So what did we discover? Well, after posting a strong increase in the spring survey, Canadian exporters more than erased that gain in the autumn season. Actually, the Trade Confidence Index fell to its lowest level since the fall of 2012, when economic conditions were arguably a lot more serious than they are today. In general, the index has been trending downward since its most recent peak in the spring of 2014. This timing coincides with the global plunge in commodity prices, but is somewhat perplexing in light of the concurrent increase in overall U.S. demand. All 5 elements of the TCI declined in the recent survey. Notably, it was the elements covering the situation here at home that slid the most. The perception of domestic conditions soured the most between surveys, with government initiatives being a key dampening factor. Domestic sales were not far behind, with respondents blaming flagging demand and seasonality. However, export sales were a close third, with 1/3 of those expecting things to worsen, citing weaker foreign demand as the reason. Significantly, 21% of this same group blamed capacity limitations as a factor in weaker sales, while in the spring survey, no such concerns were raised. Exporters worried more about world economic conditions in the fall survey. Among those expecting worse times, almost half said that they were concerned about global recession and instability, up from 29% in the spring. Among those more downbeat about global sales opportunities, 20% cited world instability as a key factor. Responses of small-sized exporters hold a lot of sway in our survey results. Reflecting the makeup of the Canadian economy, small businesses form a large majority of our respondents, and their votes each count for as much as a large company's vote. In this survey, small businesses were decidedly less upbeat, with their index score tumbling 3.3 points, taking them from first to worst. Large and medium-sized businesses were also less confident than in the spring, but their declines were less than 1/4 of the drop for small enterprises. Among industry groupings, the extractive sector, oil, gas, mining, they slumped the most. Their index score, like that of small businesses, went from top to bottom in just 6 months. Clearly, commodity prices are still having a big effect on market perceptions. Transportation and IT also saw large declines, with more muted results in the remaining industries. One of our key discoveries in this survey was the attitude of Canadian exporters toward the populist debates on international trade. When asked about the factors that would have the greatest impact in their short-term international activities, 58% of Canadian exporters cited the then unknown outcome of the U.S. election as their #1 issue. The third highest concern was the UK's vote to leave the European Union, reflecting the importance of Canada-EU trade to our exporters. Sandwiched in between these two issues was concern about the slowdown in China's growth. Given that the outcome of the U.S. election is now known, it is highly likely that the concerns are as high or higher now than at the time the survey was conducted. This was certainly the case anecdotally on my recent Cross-Canada Global Export Forecast speaking tour. The bottom line? Without a doubt, the world has entered a period of greater uncertainty about the very architecture of international trade. These debates appear to have unsettled Canadian exporters, and their sentiments over the near-term period will likely be very much conditioned by the tangible policy outcomes of recent and ongoing elections and referenda. Until next week, I'm Peter Hall.